Hello there everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video. Now, today is Tuesday, so there is a new Fateless video out talking about the Alpha Tower rewards and the prizes released, and I thought it'd be fun to watch this together, completely sort of unedited, raw reaction, and have a little bit of fun together. So, without further ado, let's get into it. But before we get into that, if you're not part of the Fateless Discord, you should definitely go join, because you get things like this dropping every now and then. So it was Fateless's 2-year anniversary, birthday, conception, whatever you want to call it. And as a little sort of thank you, Simon dropped this in the Discord, and I lost my shit when I saw this. Like, a few of these characters we know quite a bit about. There are a couple which we've not seen yet. Quetzalcoatl being one of them. This is the first time we have seen him in game. He has an idol breaker and he looks stunning. Like, yeah, I can't express how cool that he looks. The feathered serpent is here, or one of them. And yeah, he just looks really, really good. I'm going to get the flutter again. It looks so cool, right? But the other thing that's really interesting for those eagle-eyed among you like myself, Baba Yaga. Now, I don't know that this is definitely Baba Yaga, but from what I know about her lore, we know that she's in the game because we've seen an image of her hut way back when in sort of like a grayscale sort of format. But we now get more details about her in game. She is going to be a legendary hero of cunning affinity. So that was really cool to see. The old hag with her hut on legs. And you got sort of like the bone tiara across the top. I think that was stunning. And then Heimdall. Now Heimdall we have seen in 2D concept and all that stuff. He was my favourite 2D concept to date, and I thought he was going to be a favourite looking hero. Quetzalcoatl might have taken that now though. But again, we can confirm that he is legendary and of strength affinity. So that was really fun to see this drop in. Now the thumbnail for this video is Quetzalcoatl, so maybe we'll get a bit of a deeper look into it. But so yeah, without waiting any longer, let's go. Let's go.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Today we're going to be looking at some of the rewards you can get from the Alpha Tower. We've been working hard actually to get a couple of collaborations going.
Okay, so first off that I'm seeing, we'll get into his collaborations. Gold currency, fine. Gem currency, fine. Alchemy vials? Vials of fire? That's interesting to see. I wonder what that's going to be for.
Where we're looking to have an awesome prize for the people that really push themselves in our Alpha experience. Really as a massive thank you for everyone who's going to get involved, because a big part of that for us is about getting feedback before we go into kind of like, you know, the full beta and before we go into our launch by the end of the year. So yeah, we're going to go.
I think that's important to mention as well. Some people still don't appreciate that this is a game in progress, right? And so all of this is subject to change, all right? Just remember that.
Our launch by the end of the year. So yeah, we're going to go into some of those rewards. I'm going to share with you those collaborations as well. In the meantime, what are we doing? We are literally doing deep dive sessions daily, which I think the dev team are not enjoying that much, but it's literally like this screen. We want to deep dive the screen and make sure that everything that should be happening properly on this screen is happening. You're probably like, of course, that sounds like the thing that you should do every day with any game. And yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get there, but at this point, it's now moving from, you know, does the screen work? By the way, I showed
so cool
Quetzalcoatl in Discord this week. Animated. It's the first time we've seen one of our kind of like
amazing deals on mobiles this bank holiday at Curry's, like this stunning Google Pixel.
Yeah, long dragons animated. I don't know if the other one is actually already.
No, right. No, Simon, you are not doing that to us. You will Playback speed 0.25. We will turn the volume down quickly so we don't get robots. You could speed up your scrolling, but I could slow it down. Perrin in game as a strength affinity hero. That's cool. Yanlua Wang. I love the change in the background on the portraits. I think those are wicked. Who's that guy? We saw this guy the other week, still not got a clue on who that is. This is another new one. They're cool. In fact, that looks a little bit like one of the dungeon boss dudes. Oh, what's his name? Wonder if they're playable characters in game as well. That'd be wicked. Okay. Yeah, the change in backgrounds is oh, that's probably the Jackals of Duat. See, forever, when I first saw that name in the set leak, I was like, I couldn't find anything on the Jackals of Duat, right? And I did sort of hypothesize, I suppose, whether, you know, because of the amount of work that had gone into regular Jackal, whether they had promoted it similar to Shamash. Shamash was originally an epic, he got promoted to a legendary. I wonder if that's the same, but Cunning Affinity. Be interesting to see as he scrolls down if we see a common Jackal. If not, it might be another promotion. Achilles. Yeah, Set, Mordred, Gog, Magog. No! We gotta go back. I'm very sorry. Persephone. That's our first look at Persephone as well. Strength affinity hero, Olympus. That's cool to see. And Cleopatra. So Cleopatra confirmation that she is a void. Oh my days, who are these next to? So we got Pandora. Oh no, that's got to be Xolotl, right? That has to be Xolotl, the Aztec god of fire. Well, I say it has to be. I could have sworn he was a legendary, or at least confirmed to be a legendary hero. Maybe not though. That again could be a downshift. And that to me looks like Guinevere. So lots revealed in this video. Definitely going to have to screenshot it and update the site accordingly. So screenshots have been captured. Let's keep going. So Minotaur Volkodlak. Ooh, lots of people here. Lots and lots of new people. So we know we've got Maria there. But who are these others? Kate Sith. So some of these are... God, that is fascinating. We're going to screenshot all of those. Yeah, I wonder. Because I don't think we've seen any of these. Oh, I bet one of them is Eurydice. That may be Eurydice with the sort of Greek Olympian sort of thing there. Not sure who that one with the tiara is. We can come back to that, though. That looks like Odysseus, potentially, as a wisdom hero. Then that, I bet, is Ceres. Kate Sith as a cunning hero. We've got the Jade Dog, which we've not seen for ages, actually. Like, it was first shown ages ago. I don't think I've got that on my site because I wasn't sure whether that was going to be a bot or a playable character or something, but it's here, so potentially. Oh, that! You can't see my screenshot button because it's behind my head. But I love the change in portraits as well. Isolde looks stunning. A lot of them look absolutely stunning now. Ooh, who's that? Tengu. That's definitely Tengu. Yeah, some really cool ones here. Oh, Aztec-looking guy. Could be Shawn ones. We've seen Shawn ones mentioned before. They were like an elite Aztec warrior. Tristane. Ulf Hednar right there. Yeah, thank you, Simon, for all the... This video is going to be so long. And then he stops at Zulong. Who's behind him, though? I'll snapshot that for Enkidu. Anyway.
Let's see.
Zoo.
No, this is always...
Simon when he's drunk. Right, step back to normal. Zulong looks cool, though.
We've seen them like so far, just like long sticks, right? But we're starting to get the animations through now for some of these different creatures and stuff. And this one's freaking cool, right? So anyway, we're basically going through and we're just sort of saying, look, is everything hitting the base plan? And there's little things, right? So instantly on this screen, I'm looking at it. We're actually doing the review on this screen today. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this awakening tag. Firstly, I don't even know if that should be there. I don't think that's what it should say. But it doesn't quite line up with this. Like, there's small stuff like that where it's just annoying. And yeah, just like tweaks which would take someone literally like a couple of minutes. This screen is going to change anyway a decent amount based on what I said in my last video. But yeah, each of the different heroes, you know, you go to this upgrade button. Okay, does this screen work right? Is the hero positioned in the right place? And the answer to that is no.
So we got more of these files around. How easy they're going to be to get hold of, I don't know.
It should be further left. Does all of the mechanics we've got around, you know, leveling.
Well, that's a lot of vials, though. That went up to 20k to awaken to 6-star. But interesting, though. Yeah, awakenings. If it's all one potion. No, it can't be, actually. That's blue. That matches blue. I'll shut up.
And promoting our different heroes.
But yeah, actually, no, I'm right. I'm right in saying that. All one potion rather than small, medium, large pots that you have to get in raid. This will be awesome if it is only one pot that you need to get, as opposed to small, medium, and large ones.
Work. You know, when you actually go in and get it done, can I select, you know, my heroes to
Do we get anything else here? Pairing we can see again.
use as food?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Is there the kind of like
Anything there? Nope.
error message if you're going to try and feed a legendary, for example? All of those things, which it will happen if I press promote, and it will kind of like show me if I got the stuff. All of those things are like now our focus. Like every screen that you guys will interact with during the alpha is every screen nailed on right. And in the meantime, there's still a bunch of other stuff to do, right? So there's, you know, you'll see it here, some of our visuals, although I feel like they've improved a ton over the last 6 months even. There's still some where you're like, well, the lighting is not quite right. I think Guan Yu's a good example where you just kind of see we've got probably too many lights coming in here, but he's got this kind of like reflective stuff going on. And
yeah, his eyes are twinkling a little too much there as well for me, like personally.
There's just stuff like that. So we're constantly trying to work to
Yeah, light's definitely twinkling a bit too much. Looks like a Christmas tree.
improve the visuals that you guys will see. We're also constantly inputting the different animations and idle breakers and stuff like that for our different heroes. Where is he? Drac recently
He's now holding his weapon now. That looks really cool.
got animated, and he got his idle breaker in, and
That's really cool. I love the finesse, like a rapier fencer.
there's a whole bunch of this stuff that's going on literally day by day, right? So all of this is really important. Also, even though it's not going to be relevant for the alpha, you know, a lot of the different screens that we've been building out recently are also starting to be implemented, because obviously we're not just focused on delivering an alpha, we're focused on building a game. And there's almost...
Yeah, for those of you that missed it, we did get a look at all the campaign maps shown last week. And the changes are phenomenal. They look stunning. They're so pretty. They're going to be animated as well, which is going to be really cool.
like these two tracks. One is everything we need for alpha needs to be super polished and really, really clean.
Mirage. This is one that he skipped, that patrons did get a chance to see. And this sort of dark, mystic kind of vibe looks, again, wicked.
And then there's also this kind of like thought of...
And then at the end, here's like Baba Yaga's hut. You got like looks like little toadstools dotted around graveyard. I love the sort of gothic aesthetic. It looks so cool.
And what about when we get past that? Because obviously we need to make sure that we're delivering on a game. So let's talk about some of the cool stuff that you could win if you push yourself in the alpha experience.
I love how he says stuff that you could win. He's obviously talking to me directly because it's going to be stuff that I'm going to win. You know, so crack the knuckles, boys. Time to go.
I think I'm going to open this up by just saying there's some stuff that we're actually really on the fence about. And we've done a number of different kind of like focus groups with, some of our kind of like trusted people that we know from a content creator point of view, and also from players that we've known for a long time in this industry. And the thing that's really, I guess, polarizing people is resources, right? So, for being part of the alpha experience, we want to say thank you for being involved. So things like, some diamonds, some energy, some gold, things like...
So the fire pots are energy.
Ether crystals, should they be...
Right, and this is something else that's new, right? These are changed, which looks really cool. Mortal, Ancestral, Eternal. Now, none of us really know what the purple ones are called. In one of the 2D concepts for Dagonet ages ago, it said Void at the top, but these say Eternal, so maybe this is the name? At least that's what I think it would be. Because every other game like this annotates all it's to, so maybe that is the name of our purple hero. It's Eternal now.
Part of the reward. Originally, I had this kind of like... I had them as kind of like some of the big rewards, and also things like, weapons that you can earn in the game. Should that be a reward? Those type of things. So basically stuff that's going to give whoever's playing a faster start when we get going. That's the one at the moment that is completely, I guess, is undecided, and I'm not sure where we're going to go with it, because there's definitely this train of thought where it's like, look, if I'm going to be supporting on this alpha experience with feedback and playtesting and all that type of stuff, bug reporting, whatever it is, then I feel like I should be rewarded for that. And I kind of agree. There's also another group that's like, if loads of people have just got this kind of like chunk of resources, even if it's not that much, if it's like I don't know, the equivalent of $100 worth of stuff, let's say it was that, there's still a train of thought to say, I hate the idea of those people starting with an extra chunk than me when this game gets going. So then,
so just gonna jump in here very quickly. I get it, it's a very tough one for the Fateless team to answer, and there's never going to be a correct answer. There's always going to be, as clearly in their team, there are two people falling on two sides of the fence there. What would I like? Like, if I get access to the beta, what would I like as a reward, as a thank you? Because, we are putting time into it. This isn't, like, for people out there who think, no, they just want to play the game. Like, this isn't that experience. Don't sign up. This isn't for you. Yes, you're getting access to the game, but they're going to want feedback. There's going to be those, like, Google form surveys that pop up for 100,000 silver, things like that. Or whatever their method is, I don't actually know, but that seems like the easiest form to me, because I've got it in Ethereum at the moment, where you get 100,000 coins, you fill in the survey, and coins are a premium in Ethereum, so I'm filling in every one right now. But, yes, I personally do think you should get maybe a couple of shards, but not like the Eternals or the Sacreds, for example. Like, I don't think a temple of ancient shards, ancestral crystals, which undoubtedly will be full of res, is too egregious. Yes, you're getting a bit of a head start, but ultimately everyone's going to get those anyway eventually, probably very quickly if they've done the game right. Like in Ethereum, you get something like 80 summons in like your first hour or two playing. Like, it's not going to put you that far ahead in the grand scheme of things, but it is a nice thank you. Now, what I don't think we should get is things like energy, because energy will allow you to progress much further. So I don't think you should get that. if those crystals, I said hydro crystals, if those crystals can be used to purchase energy, I don't think you should get that. Core silver, I don't think it's wrong to have silver or gold or whatever their money currency is to roll gear and things like that, because ultimately, early on, if similar to Raid, well, I say ultimately, I don't know. In Etheria, you can level gear as high as you want if you've got the money. In Raid, you unlock it at certain levels, right? Now, if it's going to be gated, I think awarding people loads of gold and silver is fine as well. I'm going to level things to level 4 and then get stuck for a few days. Ultimately, that big pile of silver is not going to be used regardless. It's there for future. So you're not going to be like ploughing that far ahead. So, yeah. I think anything that directly correlates to energy and being able to progress further in that regard, I think is a no. Some shards I think should be there. Weapons I don't, because they're quite critical in builds, early builds. Gold and silver, we all talk about how much of a limitation there are in these games with the broken economies. I don't think that's horrendous either. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
The things which are kind of like we're not sure about, the things which we are sure about. So things like a kind of like portrait, which is only going to be possible to get through doing this alpha. Things like the frames, which again will be unique depending on your positioning on the alpha. So if you literally are the person who came first in our cavern experience, then you're going to get a completely unique...
Hold on, he said something there. Cavern experience. Cavern is very different to tower. Now, in his last video that he put out, I think it was 2 weeks ago, talking about the tower mode, he said they're unsure whether it's going to be a tower or gates of hell or something, but the fact that he has said cavern there is interesting.
Portrait frame that no one else will ever have again, as a kind of like, you know, just a hats off to you, really. Some achievements which will never be achieved again, which you could have when someone comes and spectates you as a player. So those type of things we know we're definitely going to do. Also, a couple of skins. So there'll be a skin for everybody for one of the heroes that is going to be kind of like, you know, like a collect this hero through missions type of vibe. And there'll also be quite exclusive skin for another hero of that type of, you know, possible to get them through questing for like the top 100 players. So those things we're definitely going to do. Now this.
So what he means there is, for those of you who've played Raid, Arbiter, for example, is one that everyone gets. So it might be a skin for Arbiter, or let's say Shaman, who's like your 7-day login for Raid. It'll be someone like that. That's what he means, like a Mithrala, a Lydia, an Arbiter, something like that.
This is where it gets kind of sexy, really. We have...
I mean, he is a pretty sexy man. So.
Teamed up with Squidmar. Now, Squidmar's one of the people in the miniatures kind of like ecosystem or whatever, who builds out dioramas. He does a lot of work with his team around like cool kind of like painting experiences, and he's going to be building us a diorama based around the fight, based around the tower or the caverns, with the boss in the frame, and also the winning person's team that they used to beat the boss with the most damage. Those heroes will be within the diorama, basically fighting the boss, which is super sweet. There'll also be something like some skeletons or some remains of like some of the top players within the diorama as well. And then in terms of like the bust or the sort of the stand which holds the diorama, something along the lines of the top 1,000 players from the alpha will have their name engraved on that kind of bust.
So if you watch one of the podcasts that they did with Brad, this was the same in Diablo 4. The top 1,000 players had their name inscribed on a statue, and that was placed in the Blizzard HQ, and you could go visit it if you're fortunate enough to be there. This, I think, is a super, super cool idea. Like, I want to be enshrined, right, in that. That is something that I want to do, and I will try everything to be number one. There are people way better than I am at these sort of games, but I am going to bloody push it, you can guarantee that. But even if I am not top. The fact that, I think the skeleton or the body of the name of whoever is a really cool idea. I think immortalizing their team is a wicked idea. And yeah, having the names all around would be really cool. The problem is, I think Fateless is dotted all over the show, so where that would be kept, I don't know. But if players could go see it or visit it, I think that would be really cool to see.
And then it will be kept at Verco's Vault, which is
That answers my question.
it's the world's largest museum of fantasy miniatures. So Gary, who's actually our lead investor on the project for Fateless, owns Verco's Vault, which will be the biggest miniatures museum in the world in Las Vegas. So literally, you could go and visit this and sort of see the diorama, see your name on the plaque, and all that type of stuff. And we're looking at potentially, we're still talking about numbers here, but flying some of the winners, probably top 5, something like that, out to Verco's Vault when it opens with the diorama in there for a bit of a visit with the team as well. So,
and Fateless, just want to point this out now, I'm happy to contribute to that flight when I do win. It's a very nice gesture for you. I know you're considering it, so that doesn't mean that it's set in stone, but if it does happen, I'm willing to help towards that when I win.
pretty sweet, honestly, pretty sweet type of prizes. I'm going to link this video below where Squidmar talks about one of the dioramas that he built. It's like near enough a 30-minute video, but he goes through, and we will be doing a video with him for the Godforge diorama as well. It goes through the making of a lot of the different kind of like painting techniques that were used, how they made the little figures, how they kind of like, blocked out some of the different ideas for what the diorama is going to be doing. All of this stuff is, honestly, for me, it's amazing. And Squidmar's they've got their own range of miniatures as well. Just a really, really cool dude. We were chatting to him this week. He's really up for it. He kind of follows what we're doing at Godforge anyway. He's a fan of what we're up to, and he likes this style of game. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a really, really cool final reward and thank you to the community for being involved. So as I say, there's some stuff which is still a bit of a moving feast, but we're kind of locking all that down. And in the meantime, we're getting the game into a really solid position so that you guys can enjoy it for the alpha.
There we are, guys. So that is it for today. I'm going to very quickly snip all this together. This is probably going to be close to half an hour, so I do apologise for that. But I am going to leave it just completely free. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, look after yourselves, work hard, but as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.